Welcome to Just One Bite. Today we're talking about how to make an Android app from start to finish. So that means the process of designing it, setting up your software so you can code it, making the blueprint into an actual app, and then of course the process of writing the code. So let's get started. So we have this simple Hangman app here. It's just a background, a logo, and then a play button. And when you click on it, it takes you to the next page. And then on this next page, it's just a bunch of letters, an image, and then a space for the answer to go. It's a classic Hangman game, and it's just simple elements. An image that changes, and then the letters, which you can click on to update the answer, and then once you actually complete the puzzle, it'll say you win. And then if you don't complete it and you lose all of your chances, it'll just change to that final image where you lose. So it's a pretty simple app, but it's important for you to design the whole thing beforehand because you don't want to jump into a project not knowing what you're trying to make. So now that we know exactly how we want to design it, we can get to the first step, which is design. So I know that we have these two pages and there's different elements, images, buttons, and text. So we can easily design that over in Adobe XD. So let's go ahead and do that. It's basically a black screen, and I just added in this image for texture and for the background. And then of course I'm gonna need that play button that we just made, and of course a logo. And then for the next one, we're just gonna make a bunch of different elements that we're gonna need for the next screen. So we're gonna need all of those letters A through Z so that the user can click on them. And then we're gonna also need all of the image frames. So we're gonna have to make the illusion of a game because we're making an app, but to make it look like a game, we're just gonna have to keep cycling through all of these different images that we created. And then in the end, it should look like a game. So we're gonna save all of these elements and export them to our app or to our software, and we're gonna set it up. So that's step 2. We're gonna set up Android Studio. We know that we only need 2 pages for this app, so we're gonna make a basic activity. There's different activities we can make when we start our project. If we need a navigation menu, if we need a bottom navigation, if we need 1 page, if we need 2 pages. This is the place to figure it out, because once you know that, you can just easily set up your project using one of these templates. That's why it's so important to plan beforehand so you don't waste any time or energy trying to figure out what is it that I'm making, what is my project going to look like. And then also you want to figure out what kind of API you want to use. I like 23 because it's a good middle ground for being able to run on many different devices, but also it's a simple app. We don't need that many features, so this is a good middle ground, 23 API. And then that takes us to step 3, which is just going to be where we create our layout. So now that we've made this new project, you want to design all of the layouts and import all of those different elements that we had before. But first, we want to test our emulator. We want to make sure that the project we just created is able to work and then it's working just fine. You don't want to add in all of your images, write the code, do everything you need to do, and then find out that your app is not running. So this app seems to be running just fine and it's ready for us to start coding. Now, when you have all of your images, you want to import them into the drawable folder. So the drawable folder is where you have all of your PNGs, all of your assets, all of your drawings and images, all that stuff. That's where it goes, into that drawable folder. And these are all the images we imported from before. See how quickly we can get started now that we have all of the things that we need here? And that will lead us to the next step, which is the layout. So we want to connect our assets, design the layout, and then of course name everything. The reason why we need to name everything is because we're going to be accessing everything in our code. So it's very important for us to grab all of those elements and be able to connect them and use them later on. So we know, for example, we have this play image. So we want to be able to click this image over in the Java code. And to do that, we need to give it a name so that when we get to that actual code, we can be like, okay, find the item that has the ID play image. And when we click it, do something. So It's very important to build your layout beforehand and then name every element that you could possibly interact with. You want to name it and give it an ID so that you can access it later on. Super important. We're doing the same thing here for the game code. So, by the way, I've renamed everything from first and second to home and game because I want to know exactly what everything is called. Everything needs to be organized and readable and understandable and have names so we can access them later on. It's very crucial to your workflow to do this, and you can't make an app without it. So now I'm just showing you the different layouts for our app. So at the bottom we have all of the different letters and everything. So that's basically how I set up my layout. And now to step 4, the code. Basically, you want to create a reference. So we made all of those images, all of those texts, all of those layouts, and we need to connect them to our code. So we create an object or an image here, and then we also connect it to any image over there. Since it's a Hangman game, we're also going to need information like, is the game in progress, or how many wrong letters have they clicked, because if you want to update the game, you need to know that information, as well as knowing what the user is going to interact with. And then finally, this is the part where we connect all of those things that we created before to the actual code so that things can actually happen when we're running the app. And then the last thing you need to do is make an outline for all of those different functions that your app has. So there's different things that your code will need to do. It needs to check if there's a winner. It needs to delete any letters that you click on. It needs to update the images whenever you click on a wrong letter. There's tons of different things you need to do, but once you have an outline or some kind of plan for what it is you're doing, it'll fast track your work, and then you can continue with your project without any hiccups, make sure everything's running smoothly, and make sure you know exactly what the end product will look like. And basically, this is just the process for making anything. You want to have a plan, you want to know what you're doing, and that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope this was helpful, and in a future episode, maybe we'll go into how to actually make this app. So yeah, thanks for watching.